15 years.
Oh, really?
You know, I can't carry in California, you know.
He's done. I mean, he didn't.
Right.
He possibly would, because you can work with the other side.
And I did for 8 years.
I know, but you're running as the same Republican of a party that stole the same. I mean, QAnon is the life breath of that party.
I write about it in the book, and once people read about it in the book, Bill, they won't pay 5 seconds of attention to QAnon. That's why I'm here. They better read the book.
I'm just saying the vast majority of Americans don't read books. They're on their phone.
That's what the Democratic Party must do. They must attach Donald Trump to the Republican Party. They must attach them to that party. And if they fail to do so, we're going to fail to really show the progress we're making in this country.
It's the only time I'm disagreeing with Eric all night tonight, I think. Because that's what Terry McAuliffe, that's what Terry McAuliffe tried to do. He tried to attach Donald Trump to Glenn Youngkin, and most of his campaign money was spent on ads that were trying to connect Donald Trump to Glenn Youngkin. And a majority of the voters of Virginia just said, I see Glenn Youngkin, I don't see Donald Trump, and so I'm going to vote for this guy. So I understand, but I think you got to be careful, because unless the person is acting like Donald Trump, it's very tough to make him Donald Trump.
Is the 3/4 of your party that thinks he won the election and it was stolen, are they lying to a pollster, or do they really believe that? I'm asking.
I think there has been an absence of anybody else in my party saying anything different. And when the only voice that's being heard...
There have been. Mitt Romney, Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney, and they're all known for...
Right, but look, each one of them approached it in a way that I think was not the best way to approach it.
Okay.
So I think when this week I have a book that comes out that talks about that, and Rupert Murdoch comes out and says the same thing 2 days later, things are changing. Because nobody can call me a never-Trumper. I helped them. I prepared him for the debates both times. But so when people who actually supported him, and no one can say Rupert Murdoch didn't support him either, we're now saying enough.
But you have to admit that, you know, to call out a guy and all the horrible things that Donald Trump did, and then say, I still might vote for him in 2024.
Guess what?
It's because you're scared of it.
No,
it's the same thing I said to Sean Spicer. You're scared because when he goes after you, you're just toast.
He attacked me last week, and I'm still standing here, and I'm sitting right in front of you. Here's why. Here's why I won't do it. Because guess what? If Bernie Sanders is the nominee of the Democratic Party, I cannot vote for Bernie Sanders. I will not vote for...
Well, he's not going to be the nominee.
Well, so say you. But
next time?
Next time.
He's a two-time loser, and he's 89 or something.
He's not 89.
Okay, but he's not running. I mean, trust me, it's not going to be Bernie. It could be...
Listen, future headlines is good. It ain't that good.
Okay, it's not going to be Bernie. It's not going to be Bernie.
Well, if it's somebody like that who's an avowed socialist, Bill, that's why I won't fall into your trap. Because then I got to vote for Bernie Sanders.
I tried to get him in my trap.
In your clutches, you tried to get me, but no.
But, I mean, you know
what I wish tonight?
What?
I wish I had worn Eric's coat. I feel like...
Okay, but let me ask you one more thing. You call out, I love this, that you do this, you call out all the conspiracy theories in the Republican, that most of the Republicans believe now, the Birthergate and the QAnon, and okay. But then you say, we should not permit the Democrats to turn our country into a mail-in voting society. There's zero proof that mail-in voting encourages fraud, so aren't you encouraging another kind of conspiracy?
What I'm saying is that it should not be the only option.
I'm saying it should be the only option.
That was the statement, Bill, that there are states in our country right now who are only mail-in voting. Oregon is only mail-in voting. Washington State is only mail-in voting. I don't want it ever...
You cannot vote in person in that
No,
place?
it is all mail-in voting. You are not allowed to vote in person anymore in those states. It's all mail-in. So that's why I said that. Wait a second, did he say it was right?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. All right, I'll give you the last word. You got me on that one. Somebody got me at the very end of the season. All right, thank you guys. It's time for new rules. New rules. Okay. The fashion police upset that Kirsten Sinema wore a denim vest on the floor of the Senate need to get a life. The Senate has an annual Seersucker Day, and they all dress up like Matlock. I think we can handle one of them.
Lights in our soul.
Besides, a vest can't decide if it's a shirt or a jacket. And if she can't make up her mind, why should her clothes?
To decide.
Redefine Meat, the company that invented a method of 3D printing meat in any shape or thickness you want, has to admit that every guy they show it to asks the same thing. What for a penis? Way ahead of me, good crowd. Nero, let's end the tradition where one of the football teams on Thanksgiving Day has to
under God
Lions.
must be the hope, my promise, my light of the glory among all the nations of the world. Thank you for your visit.
Phil, you know, I'd love to learn more about how the Rothschilds are microchipping Trump supporters, but the Lions are on. I mean, he's gullible. He's not that gullible. No, someone must tell Josh Hawley, you're free to do this when you discuss election irregularities all you want, but it won't stop your nose from growing. You know, someone has to tell me how America can only support 2 political parties when there are 4 different coloring books about cat butts this Christmas. There's Cat Butt Christmas. Cat Butt Christmas with an exclamation point. Cat Butt Christmas with 4 exclamation points. And of course, Christmas cat butts. 2 questions I never want answered. Where do you get your ideas? And what else do you do with the crayons? And finally, new rule Democrats who 1 year from now will be licking their wounds and asking themselves how they could have lost the midterms so badly must instead ask themselves that question now. Now. You know, now. Like,
thank you for your visit.
While there's still time to do something about it. A couple of weeks ago, Amy Klobuchar was here, and when I suggested the Democrats need a messaging czar, she offered me the job. Well, you need a messaging czar in your party.
And you think it should be you?
Amy, I'm flattered. But after careful consideration, I must decline. The hours it would take me away from home would make it very difficult on my family. But I will tonight, once again, break out my coach hat and try to point the Democrats in the right direction. That's all I can do. Point you in the right direction. I'm like Deep Throat. Because democracy, dumb white people make up a substantial portion of the vote. The median voter is a white person in their 50s who didn't go to college, their favorite TV show is NCIS, and their pronouns are what? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You can get away from me. In 2008, Republicans only won 4 Virginia counties by more than 70%. This month, in the governor's election there, they did it in 45 counties. And this is what a lot of Democrats were told was the reason for that. Glenn Youngkin's win proves white ignorance is a powerful weapon. Racism still works in Virginia. It's not the messaging, folks. This country simply still loves white supremacy. Well, I haven't worked up an official Democratic campaign slogan for 2024 yet, but I tell you what I have ruled out is vote Democrat because white people suck. That's... It's like trying to get laid by saying, you're ugly, you want to dance? You're alienating a whole lot of people, particularly whites without a college degree, which is most of them, in a country that's still 70% white. I'd say do the math, but math is a form of white supremacy. Yes, I know every fiber of your being tells you the people you really want to reach are Guatemalan teenagers and bloggers in Gaza, but they can't vote. So a lot of folks in America you come across as the cares about everybody but me party. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can find ways to stand up for these folks without being David Duke. This month, when the Democrats finally passed their big $1 trillion bill to rebuild our roads and bridges, 6 Democrats voted no because it didn't go far enough to address climate change, which I'm sure is true. What does? But this was free money from the federal government that would actually improve their constituents' lives. I can see a voter saying, you know, squad, I agree with you on climate change. But as long as it is happening, we also need money for getting the water pumped out of the subway. Can we do that before we build the workers' paradise? One of the first things Biden did in office was getting through a COVID relief package that sent $1,400 to, well, everybody, without a single Republican vote. And today, Trump is leading him in the polls. You can give the people all the goodies Joe Manchin will allow, and it doesn't seem to buy their love. Why? Why is the party that supports so many issues that benefit the middle class still considered out of touch by 62% of Americans? In plain English, nobody likes a snob. Hillary Clinton didn't have anyone on rural research or outreach when she ran in 2016 until the race tightened just before the election. Then they hired one. And where was his office? Brooklyn. True story. Politics is local, not locally sourced. It's not artisan. It's art and stand. Your microaggression culture doesn't play in the Rust Belt. If a staffer hands you a speech that says menstruating people instead of women, don't say that. Say women. Don't put anyone fresh out of college in charge of the campaign. They've been given participation trophies their whole life. They don't know how to win. James Carville knew how to win, and he blamed the Democratic losses this November 2nd on stupid wokeness. To which AOC fired back that wokeness is a term almost exclusively used by older people these days. So that should tell you all you need to know. What? This is a term folks like you brought out very recently and have been proudly displaying it every March since. Just last year, The Guardian declared woke the word of our era. I guess they didn't get the memo from the Mean Girls Club. We don't use that emoji anymore. Woke, please, we say fetch now. What a great strategy, never missing an opportunity to remind voters how lame and clueless and hopelessly uncool they are, especially since those are the ones who actually vote. But okay, fine. What word would you like us to use for the plainly insane excesses of the left that are not liberalism, but something completely different? Because you can't have that word liberal from us and think it should cover things like canceling Lincoln and teaching third graders their oppressors. That's all your new thing. A more pertinent question to ask about the word woke might be, why in such a short time has it gone from a rallying cry to a pejorative? If the word only made you think of rational, deserved causes like teaching a less whitewashed version of American history, AOC would still want to own it. But it's a joke, because it makes you think of people who wake up offended and take orders from Twitter, and their oversensitivity has grown tiresome. That said, I would love to have AOC on this show. There's so much to admire there. I was one of her first supporters for the Green New Deal idea. But that will probably never happen, because Democrats don't go anywhere these days where they're not pre-adored. And that's my last bit of advice to them. Go where the amen corner isn't. Do Fox News. Be brave. Come here. Go everywhere. Winning is about expanding the electorate. Okay, that's our show. We're off till January 21st, and that'll be in Vegas at the Mirage. The 26th and 27th.
This concludes.
January 15th, I want to thank Chris Christie, Eric Adams, and Kareem Zakaria. Thank you for a great season of showing up in the masks. Thank you, folks.